Well, welcome in everyone to the Challenge After Show tonight. Pamela, Jenna, and I are talking about the Challenge Season 40, Episode 14 of Battle of the Eras, and it's called My Swinging Era or just Swinging Era.
Mm.
Ah,
I didn't know that,
yes.
but okay.
Well, I grew up on a lake, ladies. I know a lot about rope swings, and we're going to get into that in the daily challenge. A little teaser for you there, because we had multiple rope swings around my house, right there on the lake, and it was a
So are
blast.
you saying that you would have beaten Derek or Jordan tonight had you had
I'm
been
saying
there?
I would have gotten all the targets. It's a timing thing too, though, because the rope swings I had growing up, obviously you just jump, you swing, and then you let go when you get near the water and make sure you don't hit the ground. But yeah, there's a timing aspect here, but you just use momentum and all that good stuff and all those scientific terms I don't know. You crush it,
There's
crush
a
this challenge.
timing aspect, and I also feel like a fearless aspect
Sure.
where you are standing on top of a truck going 50 miles per hour, and
Did
it's
they say
actually,
50? What did they say? Was it really 50? No way.
Can't be
didn't they
50.
say
Are you
it?
making up a
Oh,
number? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear that. Now I'm
I could have
interested.
swore they said 50.
God, that's fast.
That's
it's terrifying.
crazy
I didn't
fast.
think of that. That
You
can't be
know, it
right.
can often amaze me how wrong my mind can be. Like, do you ever read something and it's so clearly
Teen.
like,
Right.
I will be there, and I read it as I will not be there? Like,
Sure.
how did I put not in there? So the comments correct me, but I swore I heard 50 miles per hour. And as much as I want to say, I wouldn't just make that up, I wouldn't just pluck that out of the air. I have been proven to literally just think I heard something that wasn't true.
I feel like
So
maybe it was 15 and it sounded like 50 because I feel like 50 you'd be like
maybe it's
blowing out the, wouldn't
maybe
you be
it
like
was 15.
flying away? You
No,
jump,
you're
you wouldn't
so
be able to,
right. You're so
right,
right. It couldn't have been 50. It couldn't have.
50 because you'd like jump and like fly
They
behind
would
the,
fly away.
Right. At
There would have
least,
been
ladies,
deaths.
it can't be 88 miles per hour because then they had to go back in time. So we know it wasn't quite that fast. Reference? Anybody? I know
Back to the
me
Future?
neither.
Superman?
Back to the
Back to the
Future.
Future? I
Oh,
Back to the
said it.
Future is
Yeah.
correct. Back to the Future is correct. One of my
sorry.
favorite movies of all time. Fun fact: I'm going to see the Back to the Future musical this weekend with my buddy Dave, who you both know from our TikTok that we were running forever.
Oh,
Not anymore so much, obviously, but we're going to see it at the Pantages Theater. It's gonna be a lot of
Wait,
fun.
Idiot
Back
Box
to the
Boys.
Future, the musical?
At the Pantages this weekend. That's where I'll be. If anyone wants to show up and try to get a ticket to hang out with Dan from the Challenge After Show, I'll be there for the afternoon showing. So I'm sure everyone's going to just rush out to Hollywood to do that
I'm sure
for
they
sure.
are.
Exactly. I would be nervous if I were you. You should wear a disguise now. You have to make
Right.
sure your security is there.
I'm at
Okay.
under over
So
one person actually shows up there and just to say hi. Under. That's correct. Yeah, you
under.
nailed it. It's under. Yeah. Good job.
I mean, listen,
Neutral,
prove you're a fan
equal.
and go say
Maybe
hi to
just one.
Dan.
You think just the one? Okay,
I
that'd be
think
awesome.
one will.
Maybe.
Somebody might fly in just for that. But I'm embarrassed and have to apologize that I thought it was 50 miles per hour.
We don't
I feel
know
So
like
yet. You could maybe it is. Those trucks are
good
pretty big. I'm
thing
surprised. That's really
this
fast.
isn't like a news fact-based show.
Right. So it's all
and
good.
it
Yeah.
was 50. They're like I'm trying to find out in like a quick way, but we'll
It's
whatever.
not
But
good. No.
Pam's way of finding out is just hoping that AI can generate something
We've gone
about
over this. Yes.
Right.
a very
How
niche
fast was
show.
the truck going on the challenge? Like that's what I would ask.
But that is so vague. They could pull a challenge from 1999 and say the truck race from
I mean,
Would you
especially
want to
20.
nowadays
ask,
when
see
every season has a truck race. Every single one
how
has
fast
a
was
truck.
the truck going in the Challenge 40 Battle of the Eras?
Not only is
Episode
she using the
14. Episode
AI,
14.
not only is she using
According
the
to the
AI
recap of
feature,
Challenge 40 Battle of the Eras, the truck in Northern Truckers was going 55 miles per hour.
There you go.
by
Cute.
five?
Explanation in this child, contestants hung up the side of the moving semi. It's getting better. It's getting smarter. But yeah, it was called Northern Trucker.
Another trucker instead of
It was called
mother
something. I
trucker.
wrote
Yeah.
down it wasn't another. Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was
55
another
miles,
trucker.
it
Another.
says.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know
right. So
how
50
much.
Now they did say on the supposedly Derek and Jordan said during the or whatever you want to call it, the second round, or whatever the that's gonna kill me. I can't
Sudden
think of
death.
it.
Lightning
Sudden
round or
death.
the
Thank you. Thank you.
tiebreaker. Sudden
Death.
death.
That thing was
Picking
going
sudden death.
faster.
Sudden death.
Sudden
Sudden
death
death.
was
No,
going
'cause I was just
faster.
thinking that I feel like since giving birth, and Dan, you can probably relate as a parent, I just feel like a piece of my brain is missing. So I'm happy to hear that my memory was correct.
You're
Did hear that
Jenna, you're
correct.
taking care of another life. Like your brain has to focus so much on this thing. It's hard to remember your own stuff. I
I
I
think
feel all the time.
I think my
Go on.
brain came out like with the afterbirth.
Oh,
Just
geez.
my brain also left my body.
And I was a stupid one. And I was like, that won't be possible. And I was wrong and you were right. I'm like, so sorry. But
It
imagine
seems
how hard
fast,
it'd be to
yeah.
control your kick at 55 miles per hour. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, logically, you sound correct that you feel like somebody would be like whipping through the air, through the sky, unable to regain control and get themselves back on top of the truck.
Yeah. Well, they
She's
were
like
having
trying
difficulty
to
with
do a
that too.
diagram.
Well, you stick your hand out of the window, just going slow. The wind would affect if my hand moved the jumper. Now I'm surprised that anyone got any of the targets. It's like, wouldn't you just be flailing around in the air kicking?
Now that you realize the elements and the rules of the game.
Yeah. Man.
Thank you, AI.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Thank
AI.
you,
you ladies,
AI.
let's
Maybe.
do overall thoughts. Let's do overall
Okay.
thoughts. Pamela, why don't you go first this week? Here we go.
My overall thoughts are I really, and I think most of us are suckers for the
Why is Jenna laughing? I don't know. Jenna's just
I
laughing
don't
down
know. Like the editing matters. It does matter so much the way they portray something. Because tonight, for the first time ever, if you guys
there.
watched last week, I was like, Corey's never gonna. I don't believe Corey could win. And now I'm like, oh, Corey, team Corey for the win. Maybe this is his one. I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm team Corey's my overall thought. And
Okay.
also team Tori. Tori's really like a good person. I think she's really cool. And I feel like I'm happy for her as a person that she, without the Vacation Alliance, is getting like publicly liked this, whatever the opposite of publicly hated on. Because I feel like she's the same all the time, but it's really easy to dislike her when like Casey and Nani and all those other people are there. But I feel like Tori's true colors are always the same and she's great. So shout out to Tori. It's my final thoughts.
Jenna, you're up.
My overall
Overall.
thoughts are that I loved the daily challenge, and we'll get into it. We already kind of were getting into it, but I usually am not one that loves a truck challenge, to be honest. I feel like they're always, I mean, they're difficult and advanced and hard, but at the same time, not always the best to watch. Not, they always kind of just seem like it's the pyrotechnics that is the big thing of a truck challenge versus like it actually being an interesting challenge. But this one, I was actively rooting for things, actively jumping, and was so invested. And you have people who are competing so well that they go into sudden death. And also, all the challengers were having fun with it. But I realize I'm giving too much detail. So I loved the daily. We'll get to it. I also really just wanted to get to the elimination. I have to be honest. A lot of these moments and vignettes really didn't do it for me. I was really kind of like, let's move the train along. I really just want to get to the heavy hitting
Yeah.
points.
Same. I felt the same way about those vignettes last week with Olivia and Michelle talking multiple times on a couch about how much they love each other as best friends. Like, get to the end, get to the end. All right, I'll do you one better, Jenna. Not only did I love the daily challenge tonight, I loved the elimination. Now, I didn't necessarily love the competition that was in that elimination because it was very lopsided, but the concept of that elimination was awesome. I want to see more things like that. And plus, both these things, the daily and the elimination, easy to follow along with. You can keep up with every I know that's a Pamela favorite thing, but like it reminded me of the old school challenge where it's like a simple task and it's fun. And like you said, Jenna, they were having fun with it. They were laughing, they were joking around. Why can't the producers figure out things like this to do every week? Because it's entertaining and it's fun. Unlike last week, I couldn't stand last week's episode, but this week's episode, I loved everything about this week's episode except for the vignettes after the daily challenge, all the way to the elimination. We're going to talk about it, but it's a bunch of just like filler. Like it's like B-roll footage to like help a newscaster out when they need stuff to fill in between them just talking. They need other things to say to throw in there. Just get rid of it. Hour episode. That's all we need. We don't need this hour and a half. Go ahead. Sorry,
And
Em.
it's
I
like every
disagree. I like
introductory shot of anyone is them typing at their computer in every like 60 minutes news piece.
Well, I liked all of this episode. I have to say, I gave bad overall thoughts because they were really specific and not overall. I loved this
Oh,
episode.
good.
I liked the daily challenge. I was invested and I cared. And I was like, actually cared. I was like, this is tense. I don't know how like sports, people that watch sports do it. Like it's nerve-wracking when you care and it's close or it seems close. And I liked the final thing. And I did not mind at all the sort of vignette things. I actually really liked them. There was a few, and I'll wait until we get to that portion of it, but I quite liked them. I thought they highlighted different people's relationships in a way that I was like, oh, that made me happy, and I was enjoyed seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any vignettes that you ladies want to chat about before we get to the daily challenge? There's only a few things that really happen there. They really tease the fact that Derek wants to pull out a win to prove himself, and I said right away when I saw, I was like, hey, Derek's going to win the daily challenge. Like I was even
Spoiler.
shocked. I was like, they're giving it away, but like I really like he's actually going to win this thing. Like, what is this going to be? And then when I saw it was the truck, I was like, no way, Derek wins this. And sure enough, he does. So that was that. And then the Tori and Rachel conversation I did think was interesting. And they started like pulling the chess piece, like, oh, I'm working with this person. Oh, and then they went, Josh, well, we'll both take a chess piece because Josh is working with both. That was kind of fun. I don't know, but overall, that's all I got for the vignettes.
Very
Yeah.
cute. That was one of the moments I liked because she was like, I have Jordan, you have Johnny, and then it was like
We
Josh.
both have Josh.
Yeah, everybody has Josh. That was funny. Um, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. It wasn't too long. It's not like it dragged on or anything. So I didn't mind it. It wasn't like 20
Yeah, they were
scenes of
quick,
Michelle and
but not
Olivia.
much. Yeah, they were quick, but not much substance to them, really. Jenna, anything before we get to the daily challenge?
Honestly, no, it didn't really
Okay.
stick out to me that much.
Yeah,
I was
it
ready
didn't. It
to
didn't.
challenge.
And one
Um,
thing I wanted to mention in that you might, well, getting to the challenge, but before the challenge,
okay.
we discussed last week Bananas and Aviv in the footsie episode and whatever. There was another moment right before they started tonight. Did you guys see that they were sort of like,
Well, Rachel and Johnny had a moment, but that might have been later on.
this was Steve and Bananas. It was really quick. It was not highlighted. And he sort of
Okay.
he was talking about Johnny's Angels winning. He definitely likes her. And like, I think I'm not saying anything's going on, but there's the reason it hit a nerve, I think, and this is the same thing I said last week, is that there's obviously some sexual tension there going on there. I don't think she's going to run away with Bananas and leave her family. And I don't think he's in love with her or anything. But I think if you had to pick who you're sort of into in the house, they have a little bit of chemistry.
So, Pamela, if you saw it in our comment section, I'm not sure if you did, but someone wrote in, I don't know if it's true or not, but they said that they shot that out of order. Did you see that comment where it was like, they accidentally touched feet and then Michelle was like, oh, stop playing footsie. But instead, they used the shot afterwards where they were just messing with Michelle on purpose. And they used that as the original footage to make it as if that was what Michelle was commenting on. But that moment, supposedly, that was them just effing around saying, oh, Michelle, are we still flirting? Ha, ha, ha. So that's what they said happened possibly instead. And they just edited it that way. And then everyone was like, shocker, they edited the footage. I can't believe producers would try to do that. So, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I do
Stan,
feel like a lot of the editing this season has felt kind of clunky. It kind of feels like you're filling in the gaps. Like you can kind of feel that things might not be in order or things are a little bit harder to track. I felt like
Right.
that last episode when Josh and Michelle were fighting, when she was trying to make the burger with the onions. And I was just like, this feels like you're kind of hearing their conversation, but then it's like close up on Derek's face. And then it's like, why is he okay? And then it's like twisting close up on Josh. And it just felt like, so can I just hear them fight? I don't need all of
you
these
just
things
can we get a
cut.
wide shot? Can we just get a wide shot so we know you're not effing with the footage? That brings me back to my point though of I don't know if you noticed this, Jenna, because I talked to Pam about this, but they kept showing Aviv on the bus in the same position 3 different times, just looking down at whatever she was reading, and she never moved one bit.
She was like,
writing.
yeah.
So I was like, what kind of edit is this? If she's not reacting to this, it probably didn't really happen in the real time because it sounds like it didn't. It's all garbage. Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean that And I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that we saw any other moment inside of a bus to or from a challenge yet this year, right? So
And
We
see,
why did
love
they've
Kara?
they've they've been
footage.
holding that back for seasons now, and those used to be the best parts of the show. I was telling Pamela, I
Yeah.
used to love that stuff. When we talked about Cara hooking up with one of the brothers,
Oh
we
my
hooked up
God.
with we talked about like was it Tony that said that mean shit to Jemmy on the bus, or was that who said the mean stuff to Jemmy?
Jordan.
Was it I don't know. I mean, maybe multiple people said mean stuff to Jemmy
Mm.
It
on the
was
bus.
Jordan
All
that
kinds of I thought Tony did some stuff. Anyway, all
Tony and
kinds of stuff on the
Tori got
bus.
into the pasta fight, the
Well, remember when
spaghetti.
Brad got the wedgie in the van from the Miz back in the day? That's another still traveling thing from a club or whatever. Hey, we got to get more on four
Yeah,
wheels
Yeah.
footage. I want
there
some
was
vehicle
the bus
footage.
is the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. Anyways,
That's
all right.
and I'm sorry if
Let's.
you're being repetitive because I wasn't there last week, so I don't want to.
Oh, that's fine. Well, let's do this another trucker. The first thing I noticed, all right, when Jordan went, and I know he did really great. I'm telling you right now, Tori is still in love with this man. The way that she talks, everyone go back and watch because maybe you missed it, but they showed multiple times. Jordan's so good. He's so good at stuff. He's the best. Like and he's still her number one. And I know that he's just a good competitor in general, so maybe that's why he's their number one. But no, she's still in love with him. I'm sorry. I know Jordan's moved on. He's dating someone else now. Some singer or whatever the hell she is. But like, I think Tori still loves him. I do personally.
Funny because I think they might. It's I would be on. I'm like oh, each other,
He's like,
and
I
I
hope
loved the
so.
way he talked about her that one time. He was like
I
Tori's
remember,
better than
yeah.
she even knows. I
Yep.
think they just. I don't even. I didn't even pick. I didn't even think that that was like goo goo eyes in love. I think she just really like he is a fucking animal. And he before he went, I was like, I bet Jordan's gonna crush this. Like the thing that's so weird and no one can do it. Um, I didn't. It's funny because I want to think that, and in that I did. I just think that she like they like really love and respect each other. I don't necessarily think it would work that she's like still in love with him in that way. But
And maybe
maybe we'll
I
see.
just
Time
got
will
that
tell.
I
Time
just
will
got a
tell.
vibe. I don't know. Jenna,
But
did
he
you not see
spoke
that?
like
I just
that
got a
about her
vibe.
I
too. Like
I knew that she said that. I picked up on the fact that she said that, but I didn't interpret it necessarily as in love with. I interpreted it as like still has love for and respect for. And there's such
Okay, okay. To me, that's close. It's very close to what I thought. But okay, go on.
yeah,
That's
no, and there's such an interesting dynamic because I imagine it would be very difficult to get to that point with an ex-fiance, like probably hard enough with an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, but
right.
someone that you were engaged to, thought that you were going to marry, like they really made it over the wall out the other side and are still working together and are still friends. And I actually don't see an awkwardness in them being romantic exes. Like I've never actually seen, and of course we're not saying everything, it's edited, but I've never seen like a situation where I actually thought like, oh wow, they really do have this weird still in love with each other or like shadow hanging over them that they can't like communicate as friends. Like to me, just does feel like they moved on and that they're
Mhm.
just yeah.
I agree. There was that one season, I don't remember what number it was, where they were freshly-ish broken up and they were
They
still
were
sleeping in
cuddling.
bed naked together all the time. But then Jordan was hooking up with Nerys, I think. Like something,
Uh,
remember
uh,
that season? So
uh,
that was a little tense of that was their hump for sure, where they were like, had to be together after a painful breakup.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
we're
remember that. I
obviously
remember that
still
season. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, we're obviously still attracted to each other. And now it's like, okay, well, they obviously still love each other on the respect level. So I don't know, maybe one day, maybe the timing was off. Who knows? Only time will tell. But I do find it so wonderful that they just like are so there for each other after, agree, Jenna. They've really been through it and come out stronger than most people ever could.
Yeah. But Tori and Kara start, and I
Oh,
can't remember. They're the only ones that I did not write down how many targets they got. Dan, I'm sure you did.
Got like five and Tori
uh,
got, Cara got like five and Tori got like two. It was,
Yeah,
they
it
that
was
wasn't a good showing for
was
Tori. That
not
was one
good
of
for either of them.
Tori.
So,
I thought Tori got two. I didn't write down
right,
each one actually.
Tori got two and Carr
Oh,
got like five or
I thought I
four.
heard it reversed. Okay, yeah, Tori
Yeah.
got two, and then Carr got around five. Um, we can break down each run. I mean, the biggest other thing I took away from this challenge, obviously besides Derek kicking some ass, was I've realized one thing more about Josh, and that he is super unathletic. at anything he does. He's awkward. He's not coordinated whatsoever. We're going to see it later on. We'll talk about that in the elimination as well. This is not the type of show this guy needs to be on. He's highly emotional. He can't control his temper. He can't control his emotional side, and he's not athletic. And you can say that he's got this great social game, but his social game is being friends with everybody and not having certain alliances, but trying to have the alliance of the entire house, which is an impossibility to do. So, Josh, take some time off from the challenge. In fact, you can retire. And yes, I'll be one of those trolls online coming after you because you're not made for the challenge, Josh. Congratulations.
Yes, remember, Dan, he's not doing it for us, okay? He's
Right,
not
but
trying to prove us wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really think he is just a gentle giant because he does have the size, he does have the build to be really good at these games, but there's something missing. So, exactly what you're
Athletic
saying is
ability.
athleticism, or you would think that he would easily get these targets given his wingspan and size and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was thrown
Sucks.
off
Like
by.
he's not good at any of these things. Like there's no thing that it's been like, again, going back to him didn't even be Josh, the very first one where he qualified. He didn't even qualify to like be on the show at all.
You nailed
And
it.
one of the
That's
people,
it.
and now he's just capped. You don't have to like try and make it to be a competitor. But when they had that first purge, he shouldn't have even been there except someone
Right.
else had to go home or something.
He literally, Pamela, you're 100%. He got purged. We bring it up multiple times on this show. He got purged. Something happened to this other guy. We always forget his name, but we never saw him ever again on the show. Something happened to him and he had to go home, and they brought Josh back because they needed to have a certain amount of guys and a certain amount of girls. Supposedly, they didn't want to have uneven numbers. It's the only reason Josh ever made it to another. He would never have been asked back again. And now we're dealing with Josh
Now we have
for
to deal with Josh.
whatever season he's on
Because of
now.
Jerry. Jerry left the episode. If Jerry had only stayed.
Yeah, I wish I
Jerry.
could.
His
I don't
name
know
is
who.
Jerry.
Yeah,
I
no,
wish I
it
could
wasn't, but it should be. We're gonna call him Jerry.
I wish I could remember his name. Someone will remember it. It might have started with a J, in all honesty. I think it started with the letter
Really?
J. There you go.
All right.
Why don't you AI that? Why don't you
Yeah,
AI
probably
who did Josh
actually.
take the place of when he got purged in his first season of the
What
challenge?
season was that? Do we know what it was called?
I
You
don't
can
War of the-
AI that too.
AI
Here,
Josh-
AI is gonna need a specific direction.
Pamela,
Let's say.
AI Josh's first challenge first. AI Josh's first challenge season. Do that, and then
I got that part.
all right, we got
The thing is, it's funny that we're just saying AI that, where it's like, that's also just called Google it. Like, we could just,
Hold on, I'm gonna
yeah.
AI
You
it.
just get to talk into the phone
What
instead.
season did Josh first appear on the challenge, and who did he replace when he was almost purged? Question mark.
I
If it
lost
gets
the love.
this, if it gets
No, I
this,
Josh
love the
Martinez, the challenge. Josh Martinez, I didn't know his last name.
Yes.
Josh Martinez, contestant from Big Brother, first competed on War of the Worlds.
I said, did I not? I was going to say that.
I thought it was that too. War of the Worlds, War of the Worlds. Okay, so let's see if it goes to the. It didn't give me that, but it brought me to Josh's wiki fan page.
Pamela, ask it one
I
more
love
question.
the like layers of this that not only is she asking the AI generation of Google, she's also dictating it into the
Yeah,
phone.
you gotta dictate it. Just ask one more question. Just ask who did Josh replace in the
His
first?
first one was War of the Worlds, I believe.
Yeah,
Well, Jenna, get your brain
Emily
off the
just said
floor.
that.
We just covered all that. We just covered that part.
Jenna, you're joking, right? She said it out loud.
Just about 3
I
seconds
missed
ago.
it. I was thinking
Yeah.
of something else.
Well, you were busy looking.
I was
something
reading these headlines because I keep seeing Josh taking a step back from the Vacation Alliance on the challenge.
Whatever.
Shut up,
Josh
Josh.
Martinez says the challenge 40 was the nail in the coffin for him on the Vacation Alliance. And listen, I did not read these yet to get his side of the story, but didn't he kind of screw over his Vacation Alliance by voting in? Well, I guess Corey's not the Vacation Alliance. So I take
No,
that back.
It's loyal to everyone, Jenna. What we said last week was that Kylan said it best. They actually did this in the openings. That Josh, you can be friends with everyone. No one's saying don't be friends with everyone, but you can't be allies with everyone. You can't be in an alliance with everybody. No one's mad
Yep.
if you're friends, but if you're saying I've got your back, I'm team you, and then you're also team my enemy, then you're not team me. So Josh doesn't quite get that. Which
Yeah.
Josh doesn't get a lot, which we'll get to when we start talking about the final thing. But all right, I'll AI it. I'll AI it.
Wait, is
I'm
this
trying
serious?
First
to.
place to get a spot on War of the Worlds.
I think I have an answer.
I'll remember the name if you say it. Go ahead.
Despite being eliminated in the impending Dune challenge, Josh was brought back into the game during the team draft as a replacement
So
for
for
Alon.
Alan, who's
Who is
Alan?
it?
Alan. Not what I
Al-
was gonna guess, but
Alon?
I think
Elan.
it's,
Spell
yeah.
it.
Alan.
A-L.
Like the way I'm seeing it, it looks like Alan. Alan. Unless
It does look like Alan, but I'm saying Alon because I feel like I remember it
makes
not
more
being
sense. I'm
Alan.
saying that too. I like
Yep.
that better.
Yeah, he got medically disqualified. Yep. This is what happened. He got medically disqualified, and then came back. Yep, we found it. Alan Valdez.
Oh,
Alon
I
Valdez.
Elan
barely
Valdez.
remember that person. Wow.
Oh, I
Well, you're not
think
supposed to because he literally appeared for 2 seconds on the show and Josh came back.
we hardly knew ye. I like that we're calling him Elan. It could just be like Alan.
It
Would
could
be
be.
funny.
You're right. You're right, but I feel
Look at
like I
this.
remember it
Ready? You,
not.
you
I
ladies
feel
ready
like
for this?
that
Uh,
sounds right to me too.
Alon was medically disqualified from the game prior to the team draft due to his hand injury sustained during the impending Dune challenge, and that's why Josh. So Alon, if you didn't hurt your hand, we might know who you are on the show, but no, we don't.
So
Bring back
interesting.
Elan. Yeah.
Um, by the way, do you ladies want to guess how many times Josh cried tonight? Because I wrote that down. I took note
Hmm.
every time he cried and made a little note on my paper here. So
I think
number
it was at least five because I
5 times.
5 times.
Jenna nailed it. It's 3 times. Three
Oh,
times.
I thought it was five. Man,
Only
I feel like I can remember at the chamber at the end.
at the chamber, at the end,
Confessional
And
or
then
the
I just
And
added
confessional
another one
party.
for fluff because that couldn't have been it. So
and
Yeah.
Josh, he cried. He cried after the daily challenge before they went to the club in sometime in there.
Right.
Then he cried at the chamber, and then he cried after he got eliminated or whatever.
oh,
I
So
feel like
confessional.
when he
Yeah.
was talking about wanting to win for his family, there were some tears too, and that was just a
that's well, I think
confessional.
that's the one that I must be talking about. That he
Okay.
did. Yep. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
All right. Well, he's already won his family $1 million from Big Brother, correct?
He won,
What
and
did,
I think
what
you
did he
win
win in Big
half of
Brother?
it. You don't win a million on Big Brother. I think you win 500,000, whatever. Again,
Well,
still a pretty
congrats.
penny. Yeah.
I'll take the money. Okay, let's talk about who won and lost this daily challenge. Aviv got 0. She's the smallest thing ever. I guess that might be why she lost. She doesn't have the arm, the wingspan possibly to do this challenge. Josh got last place because he's the tallest and has probably a really long wingspan. Oh, because he sucks. Right. Okay, that's why Josh lost.
Yeah.
And then Rachel and Derek are the winners of the
Yes.
challenge with Jordan close behind. And I know Jordan lost in sudden death by one target. So I thought to myself, could there be some type of conspiracy here? I know the male doesn't get to
Really?
like have the final
No.
say, but does Jordan really want to have to deal with having to vote in someone? So maybe he was like, you know what, Derek, I'll lose just by one here and let you have it. Because they both, I don't see why either of them couldn't just get a perfect score again. So just something to think about
Yeah.
there.
I don't think he lost it on purpose. I think he's such a true competitor through and
Why would he
through,
miss
and he
one?
lost it by a whisker. I know he was so
How did he miss
consistent.
one?
It's
How did he miss
true.
one though?
He was so consistent. Also, he was so fluid. I want to talk about a few things with the challenge. Obviously, we know Jordan was amazing. I don't know why. It's like I almost forgot for half a second before I saw him compete because Bananas did so well too that I thought like, wow, at that point you had seen Tori and Cara not do very well. You had seen Corey also not do that very well. And Bananas, who manages to be so good at all this stuff, who spent 100 years on the challenge, do very well. And so I thought, wow, that's a near perfect score. Like, I don't know, can anybody top that? And then Jordan going and getting 100% across the board without even looking like he was breaking a sweat. Like he was born to be out there. He was so fluid, so smooth in everything he was doing. And then Derek goes and gets a perfect score as well. And like I was saying in the intro about overall thoughts, I loved how much fun Derek was having with it. He's
Right.
lassoing his rope. He's saying like he's thinking he's at a drag brunch and snatching weaves. I was laughing hysterically because to be the underdog and be so good at something that is so challenging and random. Like I love the way Aviv put it. She's like, I don't know, I have kids. I'm not waking up on the weekend and like going and getting a semi and practicing like how to jump off of one. It's like such a random skill set to have. And it looked really scary. Now that we know that it was 55 miles per hour and seeing a lot of the girls go, they just did not know what to do. Like I feel like everyone was such a deer in headlight. Like a lot of people had their like legs stuck to the top of the truck and didn't even want to jump off. Like Michelle didn't jump off a lot. Tori stayed on the truck a lot. So it looked so scary. So for the two of them to just act like they're out having a walk in the park. And I love seeing Banana's face too when he saw two people get perfect scores. He was just like, oh, shit.
No, dude, like I feel like even if you're Jordan or Derek who crushed this, there'd be a normal human learning curve of like missing the first one and getting your timing right.
Exactly.
If you never in your ever life saw someone play baseball and someone gave you a stick and threw a ball and you were just like got the timing right. Like it's crazy that they were so good at it. I don't have a conspiracy there. It's just pretty amazing. I guess if you can calculate something, I don't even know. But yeah, no, that was amazing. Props to Derek. He really did great because in the Derek was ready for a final. I was like, oh, Derek, you're not going to be in a final. Like, you're not going to. So it was nice that he won this because good for him, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's things he does very well. So that's cool. This is one of them. The girls, yeah, I don't know if it was size, but it was very challenging for all the women. Like, Rachel, except Rachel, who was like, yeah, I can do this for fun.
Crushed it. She did so good. And I also want to say that even though Aviv lost and she got the least amount of targets, I really think it was just because of her height. Obviously, I think everybody thinks that, but she looked more athletic than some of the girls competing doing that. Michelle, like her athleticism and her effort really shined through and was better than people who got more targets. Like I really sucks that she was at the expense of her height, really.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird or cool or whatever, just interesting that Derek was using his hand. So most of everyone was using their legs, and I guess maybe you're a little more accurate with your arms, but then you only have one hand to hold on. So like you have to be strong. So if you're going 55 miles per hour, the whole thing, it obviously was very challenging. So props to all those people that did well because that was hard.
Yeah, I love that it went to sudden death. I love it because I was just waiting for them to all of a sudden like leave it up to accuracy or something. And you know how sometimes when it's a tie, they always say, but who got it faster? They couldn't have done that in this situation because it was going at the same time. I was like, okay, they're just probably going to tally it by whoever like punched closer to the center of the target. I was so pumped when we got a sudden death because I did not think that they were going to take it to that next level and like reset the game and have them go at it.
We know Jenna loves a payoff, so she got that for sure there. Final thoughts on the daily challenge before we move on to the club.
No, but I really just don't care about that.
Okay, so let me mention a few things that I want to talk about because I agree, Jenna. I just want to talk about the elimination, which I can't wait because I'm super excited. But there's a couple things I want to talk about. One is Derek and Cara at this point after this, they talk about how Derek's the underdog and he doesn't like that terminology or something like that. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Derek, but I do think that they missed out on a lot of big gets for guys this season. That they couldn't get because of whatever issue, but they couldn't get them. So when you have people in the show like a Ryan or a Derek, but the competition's not as fierce or they're just older, like a CT is getting older, whatever, it's just not as challenging supposedly. Like I think for the women, I think they almost got every there's only a few other females that I can think of, but for the guys, I wrote down some names of people that I think could have been here over a Derek type where Derek wouldn't even stand a chance against them because he obviously did great in this challenge, but like they're never going to get him. But the Miz, Abe, I know Abe's on the other side. What the hell's Abe up to? He was a freaking animal on this show. I wrote down Landon. I wrote down Zach. I wrote down Wes. And those are just off the top of my head. And I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting about. But like those are 5 guys right there that you could have, if you put those guys into this mix of the strongest guys here, so you could have upped the game. Because I mean, we saw it on the was it 39? Whatever other season where like the girls were amazing and the guys were kind of like, eh, or was that All Stars? One of the other recent seasons where
All
like
stars.
was it All Stars like the girls they had like a stacked females and the guys were like, oh, it was All Stars. Like the greatest guy was Tony and he went home early because of a
Yeah.
family issue or something. I was like, okay,
Yeah, all stars.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, those guys
Um,
would have been amazing to see and to get. But guess what? In this challenge, Derek still beat Bananas and Jordan. So
Yeah, and
he could have
that's what I'm
possibly
trying to
beat
say.
anyone. He got
But
100,
he's
he got a perfect
Kylan,
story.
who does very well, who also did shout out to Kylan, got missed one, I think one of the targets.
he missed one. Kylie
He
missed
was,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean the men did very well, other than Corey actually. And watching them, it looked like Corey and Bananas did do great because they were going after Tori and Cara, who didn't do great.
It was really only Josh. Josh was the only male that did
Oh,
bad.
you're right. Sorry. I shit, he already left my mind. I'm already on to Corey being like the worst player of the day. It's so clearly not. It was Josh.
Right.
Obviously, he lost. I just
It's
already even
good.
forgot about his. Yeah.
It's
I
good
did want to
Corey.
bring up because you talked about conspiracy, Dan,
Woo!
or Jordan, because or maybe Jordan losing on purpose. But Jordan did post something actually on his Instagram that said, "Fun fact, they never have given gloves for me after all this
Yes.
time, I know. In the past, I used to cut slash sew my own glove until I wasn't allowed to do that anymore. Now I use tape and fold the fingers back. More challenge lessons being handed out tonight." So
Yeah.
maybe there
I
was an
read that.
issue
I
with
read
the
Those
up on
guys
that
need
glove
too.
gloves.
and for his
Well,
hand.
he doesn't
I
have
just
a
said, why
hand,
won't
so
they
yeah.
give him, like, why won't they let him have gloves? Like, why won't they
No,
give
they
him
let him,
gloves?
but there's not the glove would have all the fingers on it. So he has one
They do
glove.
like a racing glove, like like a fingerless glove.
Yeah, I'm
So
wondering if
Yeah.
they.
the hand, I don't know.
I'm sure they make some type of thing online that maybe he could buy. But then again, why doesn't the
Oh, he's
challenge just
saying,
provide him with one? It's not that they can go and find one online for him. It's not they find gloves for everybody else. Just find him a specialized one. It's not a.
Wait, I love this comment that says Bananas could get a golden glove if he wanted, but hey, screw this other multi-champ fan favorite who actually needs custom gloves.
you're saying
That's kind of a funny.
hard. That's why I'm like, just get his hand and, staple on the fingers and so on. Like, it's
What
not
gets
that.
me about that is that he's just dealing with his elements. Like he's saying he used to cut and sew his own gloves, so he's just adapting to the elements. Sorry, not using his elements.
Yeah, but I'm
What?
wondering like if you took
Adapting
a
to the
regular
elements.
glove and he still has a couple like fingers here, so I think he could place them in wherever, and then they could. I mean, they must have a
It
seamstress or
doesn't
someone
seem that
there
hard.
that could
It
totally
doesn't seem that
design
hard to
something.
customize a glove. They're not like making a bodysuit for him that's fireproof. Like, just customize a glove. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
like
but the
he did
worst
it
part is
himself.
that he used to, but then he said he wasn't allowed to do it anymore. So
Well,
that's
that's
even
BS.
crazier. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
that
what I'm
feels like
saying.
the
Why won't
mean
they?
part
That's
of
what I'm
it.
saying. Why won't they let him do it? I don't know.
yeah.
But that's a strange fun fact.
Well,
And
every
wow.
production team has a costume designer of some kind, and these people are good with things like that. They could, I feel like someone that has knowledge on that could figure out a way pretty quickly and sufficiently to give the man a couple pairs of gloves for his.
Good. Like, if Jordan sent me a picture of what it needed to
Oh,
look
look at
like, I feel like I
Pamela.
could
This
do
is
it.
Pamela.
I have a
You
sewing
better.
machine. So listen,
Pamela's got
Okay,
this
I'm
down.
just laughing at some of these comments because this one sounds hysterical. This one sounds like when you used to go to the grocery store like in the 2000s and every female celebrity was pregnant every other day or like had a crazy thing happen to them. Somebody said, I heard somewhere Wes has someone who holds an umbrella for him in the sun during challenges because he's so fair. But you can't give the man a glove. Not only that, allow him to customize his own. Which, like, if that is true, obviously he should be getting a custom glove if somebody is having somebody hold an umbrella for him. But what, like, That to me just sounds like a crazy tabloidy rumor. Like, I heard Wes
Like
needs
Jason
someone to hold an
Manson
umbrella
made
for him.
everyone on Friends like balance Tic Tacs on their head so she could conceive a baby that yeah, something crazy. It's like, did she? I hear you. Tabloid crazy. I don't. That sounds insane. Like maybe one time it was really hot. Anyway, I'm not saying that
Right?
that
But
never happened.
I would love if someone were to be able to prove that was correct because that would be
We have to deep
hysterical.
dive into the whatever comments you're looking at and see
Yes.
if like
I
what people responded. But I have one thing to say back, sorry, back to the club. I like Rachel so much that it made me, I did appreciate this scene with her and Bananas where she was being nice to him. And then she told us, again, I like that he gets 5-year-old handicap, that like he gets her children's handicap. Like, I think he's like a child where he might have outbursts, but there's more good in him than bad. And I did appreciate that. It made me think, hey, yes, that's why we do continue to love Bananas. He's not a bad person. We don't think he has a bad heart, even though sometimes he's been a real shitty guy. But it made me like, I like that Rachel likes Bananas. Like, I thought that was a cute buddy ship. And I also did not notice, it didn't go unnoticed that even someone that likes him has to treat him literally like a child, like has to look at him
Mhm.
like he doesn't know any better, poor thing.
Yeah, that's a really
Um,
funny way to put it.
the only other thing I wanted to mention before the chamber stuff is Rachel and Derek talk about representation, and you know I've always loved that about not only the challenge but also the real world. I mean,
Mhm.
they always have done, I thought, a really nice job of showing that people have different types of lifestyles and all that stuff and upbringings and just thoughts and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, I always thought MTV's always done such a good job showing different, parts of how people live and what they believe in
Yeah,
and their morals and everything. It's been cool.
that feels so true to MTV to always try to, yeah, exactly, show all perspectives and have inclusion. Like it's just always been that way, even when it felt more new. But to Rachel's point, it was really telling to hear from her perspective, that she would feel more uncomfortable and scared to wear a shirt about being a lesbian now than she felt 20 years ago. Like she almost felt more comfortable doing it then. And things are supposed to get better for certain demographics and easier. And that is really, it's so frustrating to hear that.
In fact, I wish, and I'm sure we can if she goes on to talk about it further. And I'll have to deep dive tonight. But I'd love to hear more about that from her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so love that they won together tonight. That was such a great celebratory
Mhm.
thing for them to connect on that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Okay, the chamber. I don't know. I wrote this down. Every time someone on this show tonight says down in the sand, take a shot, you'll be drunk by halftime. How many times did Josh say, I gotta go down in the sand tonight? Even Corey, I gotta go down in the sand. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So that's that I was like, whatever. Okay, down in the sand.
Yeah.
That's gonna be our catchphrase.
I I actually do have something to say about the being at clubs. The only thing that I liked was when when Corey, sorry, when Josh went over to Corey and said, you're like family, right? And Corey was like, then fucking treat me like family.
Yeah.
Because it's so true. I feel like
Mhm.
Corey is still on Josh's side and still wants to see Josh thrive, but he doesn't even owe him that anymore. Like, I feel like Josh has just been so flaky in his alliances this season where he went in being Corey's like long historical friend, right? And now is suddenly in love with Bananas and Rachel in this way where like their friendship is above all the rest. And listen, I understand his perspective if he felt like they've helped him navigate through this game and this season of being in the house, but I don't know. I thought you had this whole brotherhood and friendship with Corey in the past. Like that's the thing is you always have a brotherhood, you always have a familyhood with someone. But when it comes down to it, I don't know if you really showed that. So I loved Corey just being like, then treat me like family then. Like
Well,
actually show me,
speaking
telling me, stop talking.
speaking of Corey, speaking of family, Nelly T on the episode tonight. There you go.
That was great.
Um, definitely nice to see him. Obviously, he's going through a lot. He's been on quite the journey. That would be, I mean, can you imagine him making a comeback to the challenge? I don't think he can. I don't know. Maybe he could. That would be interesting to see him try to compete again. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that would be interesting. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
if they'll ever ask
stars.
him
Yeah, I
back,
don't
but
know.
yeah.
I don't think it would be able to be in the same, in like the same category of game. You
I
feel
don't know.
it
Yeah, I
wouldn't
don't
be
know
able
if they'd let it. I don't know.
Eventually, he can with. I feel like he could be an author. I see him windsurfing, and yeah, I follow him on
Right.
Instagram, and he's always doing stuff, doing
Right.
things.
I think
Yeah.
it would be really hard for him to do a lot of like the long distance running and things like that. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that would
for
be
sure. That's
probably
true.
the most brutal
He
thing.
could
Yeah.
though. I don't know. I'm going to count him out. I do think we'll see. I don't know. It's yeah.
Yeah. I
It would
feel like
definitely
I'm
be
not.
must. It would be must watch TV if they ever decided to have him back for another season. You got to bring if you're gonna do that, you got to see if you can get Corey to come back on the same season to have them kind of
Sure.
working as a team or rooting for each other. Or if you did like a best buddies season and you had them team up as partners, I mean, who would not
Yeah,
be
but
rooting for
no,
them?
we
You
need
know.
both of them to team up with other people for them to have a shot. That's
Well, fair
yeah, I
enough,
love
but if
them,
you
but
did a best buddies season, they would fall under that category of best buddies for sure, I would
no,
think.
you need like a male, female. It needs to
Well,
be
that's
like
fine too.
whatever. But yeah, I don't know. We'll
Anyways,
have to think about that. Yeah.
the issue I had with this week, same as last week, is you already knew who was going to be in the elimination right after the daily challenge. Last week, obviously, we were already told, and then this week it was like, well, Rachel, no matter what the producers try to make us think when they said, oh, Cara's going to go up to her and try to convince her to put bananas in. She was never going to put bananas down there. We always knew it was going to be Corey versus Josh. You have
Yeah.
like 45 minutes of all this filler. We already know the results of what's going to happen for at least who's going to be in the elimination. I'm sorry, but when I saw that elimination, I was like, Josh does not stand a chance. He looks awkward running in sand. He has like zero mobility in general. Now you got him like, God, he just looked like I'm trying to think of an animal that's kind of like a calf on a treadmill
A
trying to walk,
skateboarding
and she's like
elephant.
like
Yeah.
a baby giraffe, a baby calf, something that just couldn't run properly. And yeah, it
Yeah,
was awful.
I mean,
It was awful.
my first reaction, to be honest, was when I heard the game. I said another sprint test for Corey. I mean, I do want Corey to win, but this couldn't be any better for him. Like, remember when he beat Derek in that, I'm sorry,
Well,
Darrell in the
I thought it was
sprint
Darrell.
test?
Yeah. I wrote it down,
It
Jen. I
was
wrote that
Darrell,
exact
sorry.
example down. I said, if he can
Yeah.
beat Darrell, how the hell is he not going to wipe the floor with Josh? Yeah, I wrote the same stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm gonna contradict myself. I wasn't there last week to express this to you, but when I watched last week's episode, I couldn't help but feel like the latter element of Michelle and Olivia would have just been enough in its simplicity. That was tricky enough, that was hard enough, like a race to the top. That elimination last
Okay.
week, and I was
The
thinking that's
ladder, not the
just the
secondary.
letter
Okay.
and not the secondary, not this
Okay.
other element of the puzzle, because it feels like every single thing has a puzzle. Everything is
Yep.
part two or part three of like a 6 point puzzle. Like nothing can just be a straight up
It's
whatever it
it's
is. And
they're all about equalizers nowadays, right? So for tonight, for them not to do that, which may have been another one of the many reasons I enjoyed the daily and the elimination so much, just straight up here's a competition. Because last week, Jenna, guess who would have won if it was just the climbing the DNA strand?
Olivia,
Olivia would
yeah.
have won, not Michelle. So
Yeah. And I just remember a lot of our favorite vintage challenge seasons. Like sometimes, yeah, they would have like another mental element or a puzzle, but it wasn't always just like a puzzle. You know what I mean? It was another sort of mental strategic thing that didn't always have to be a puzzle, but also most of the times they were just a straight up game. Just here's where you start, here's where you finish, go do it. Like it doesn't have to be, now then finding these little puzzles. So I that felt like that this whole season, but then tonight was a really just kind of simple, straightforward one. And again, I was rooting for Corey, but then it almost kind of felt a little bit like, oh, that's lucky for you guys. You just get to do this one straight up, and you don't have to do the puzzle. I was like, where's the
Yeah.
puzzle? Where's the fucking unlock the key? Where's the
the
where's the
puzzle
like
stuff
Yeah.
is
spell
just
out
like
the
it's
scrambled word? Like, where's the
Yeah.
next part? It felt
yeah.
like, that's a little cut and dry now.
No, I love. Did you not like the elimination? Because I thought it was
No, I
awesome.
loved it. I
Okay.
definitely loved it. But of course, in terms of competition, I wish that there was a little bit more of a fight in Josh just to make
Well,
things
that's what I was
interesting.
saying. Like this, I bring this elimination back, maybe with a little twist to it for another season, but keep the basic element of it. And if you can get two Goliaths in there that maybe start wrestling in the middle, because you have to get pushed out of that like ring area, man, it could have just gotten really cool. It could have been really interesting to watch.
And in all honesty, Corey is good what he's very good at what he's good at, but his weak points are he's very weak at. So this he could
Yep.
not have picked a better elimination. Like
Right.
he got the best elimination for him.
Yep. Sure did.
Also, Josh
100%.
put up for a big fella, like really sucks. Like watching it, and I've never rewound an elimination so many times and rewatched. Like, I'm like, am I making it up? Am I just because I don't like Josh? Am I? I feel like Corey just like shoved him and he flew out of the
Yeah.
ring.
Telling
Like,
you.
was
Yeah, just to enter
effortless
another
for Josh being a big guy. For Corey, it looked at least very effortless, and like at least he could have used his sides, could have used some aspect of his natural anatomy to not suck that hard. But
I don't know. It's
yeah,
not
I
even
mean,
half that. The other issue is that Josh can't jump over a hay bale. Like, I'm sorry, but like I would have jumped on top of that hay bale. I would have flown off that hay bale and I would have been waiting for whoever was coming up. And I probably would have got demolished by Corey, like blown over, but I would have been there. You get a lead, you get a
at
head
least like,
start.
Dan,
get in a different
you
place and
grew
make him
Here we
work the
go. Here
middle.
comes Jenna. I can't wait.
but Dan, you grew up on a lake, not a farm. So you don't know anything about hay barrels,
Let
actually.
me ask you this. What was near my lake? The answer, a beach. I'm good at running in sand. There you go.
But that
Okay.
still doesn't answer the hay question.
Well,
Oh, I grew up in the country of Massachusetts. I could smell cow poop every day when you woke up. It was all around me, all
Okay,
around me.
so the
that
other
still
thing
is not hay. Anyway,
Josh said,
I baled hay with my friend multiple times, and I used
right?
to
there you
go
go.
like in the fall. Obviously, you have the hay bale mazes and stuff. So I jumped on hay bales and jumped off. I
There you
practiced
go.
for fun, not
Perfect.
for the challenge, of course.
There it
Yes.
is. Just to introduce another perspective, and it's secondhand because obviously he's not on the show with us, but I watched with my husband, as you know, and
Hmm.
his perspective on the Josh thing was like he just thought he actually didn't want to get physical and hit Corey or like get hit really, is that he could have just been as athletically kind of involved in it, but just doesn't have that oomph to
Yeah,
like get, he just didn't want to get hit, is what he
I like
felt.
that. I like that as well as when you saw Corey running, he's got a serious face on, he's running. And when you see Josh running, he looks scared out of his goddamn mind. It's like, no, dude,
Yeah.
get some anger behind that. I mean, you're really good at being emotional. Can't you get the angry side of you going? And hubby is right, Jenna, because he should have been ready to get hit when he got around that corner of the wall. And as long as you go to the left, and Bananas kind of called him out on it too. He's like, dude, get ready to get hit here. Come
Move
on, man.
Yeah.
away from the head so he can just knock you over. Like go a different place. But Josh
Are you
said in his commentary or whatever, his confessional to us, I'm not going to win this by being fast. I'm going to win it with my endurance. And I was like, I'm sorry. Again, I had to rewind. I was like, does Josh think this is an endurance competition? And then they
Well,
showed them like, he's down a thing. He's
hey
like, I'm not.
Josh, hey Josh, it may have been an endurance competition if it went more than the what was it, 3 rounds? How many rounds? Four? It had to be four.
Four.
Yeah.
It was
If maybe
over.
if y'all went back and forth and it turned into 8 rounds, maybe it would have turned into an endurance, but you didn't last long enough, bro.
He cat and moused him in the thing. If he ran away from him a little, he could have done something. That's where I was like, A, no, wrong challenge. B, you're not even making it. I don't know. I just,
Well,
Josh,
look,
Yeah. That's
let's
why it
give
does.
Corey. Go, Jenna.
good
Sorry.
Yeah,
job, Corey.
right. Give Corey his credit,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's where it does make me continue thinking like Josh's gentle giant sort of characteristics, where he does have the size, but he just doesn't have the,
Yeah.
that kind
Well,
of thing.
This is Corey's third elimination win. He took out
Correct.
Brad, obviously Josh, and I want to say Derek, the other Derek. No, did he?
Yeah, and the punching one. No, Corey's done
Bananas
very
took
well.
him.
I've
Yes,
definitely
the
seen Corey.
punching one where they were like blindfolded or something. Yeah,
Who
that's
was
right.
it?
Yeah.
Derek K was on like one leg. He only had one leg
Okay.
left, basically, you know? They were in that
Derek.
little small ring and
Oh,
they were
oh
punching each other,
yeah. It
right?
was close too. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but Corey still won 3 challenges.
Corey.
Um,
Yeah, good for
okay,
Corey. Like you said, Dan, about seeing this elimination again, I would be interested to see like what if Corey was against Jordan? What if
exactly. That would have been
I
fun.
wanted a more of a sense of like, was it just so imbalanced in terms of athleticism and Corey's speed and stuff? Was the distance of the run and the hurdle of the hay barrel enough to like make it equal? You know what I mean?
Right? Maybe they can kind of fiddle with the obstacle to make it a little more close. But then again, I just think it was just
Or no, I
Josh.
just mean I would have liked to see it at, I don't know. It just felt so in Corey's favor. Corey just
Oh yeah.
Balance.
completely
Right. It's
beasted him
like
in it. That there's no way to gauge if it would have been different or more
I feel like
equal.
it
If
would have been a much more interesting and closer thing if it was Bananas or Jordan or anyone that would fight back, that wouldn't just run slowly and then stand at the edge and pop over. I mean, yeah, it definitely, I feel like Corey probably still would have won, but it would have been a better.
fight.
Yeah.
Jordan would have tired it out.
Okay.
I mean, Jordan would have probably, tried to. Josh was just there when Corey landed to be hit. Like it was literally in no time at all, at least according the way it looked from the edit.
Yeah,
It wasn't
which I
even.
kind of they basically just showed it happening. So there wasn't a lot of editing here, and I love that. Like I can actually tell what's this is why I love this episode so much. I could tell what the hell was going on. They couldn't really do I mean, they probably did some cheap editing tricks, but not the amount that they probably usually do. It was just cut and dry. I knew what was happening. I knew who won. Clear winner. Love it.
Yeah.
Great.
Corey chooses Jenny Michelle Aviv. Whatever, that's fine. I know he's working with the other girls, so we can't really get too much into that. But what I found interesting, and we'll mention this before we get into our mailbag, is Josh gave fives to Rachel. This is for the Karma votes. Rachel, Tori, and Bananas, and everyone else he gave ones to. So he's actually kind
Corey
of strategic with it. Josh,
was.
at the end, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was interesting because Bananas has been
But
getting a lot of
Yeah,
ones. At
again,
least they
it
show a
just
lot of ones for Bananas.
he,
You got a five
he
from Josh, so there you
he
go.
should have given Corey a five
yeah,
too, though. Yeah, I thought
that was my thought as
But
well. Like
that's
what
but
happened
that's
to
what's so weird about Josh is he
family?
said he's friends with everybody, but he actually for this one time screwed everyone over in theory with this code. Everyone got ones except for those three people got fives. So I thought it was interesting. You think Josh would give everyone fives? Everyone gets a five. I'm friends with everybody, but
he
no.
did. I was like, whoa, Josh, with
Yeah,
actual strategy, like
right.
thinking, right.
I just thought it was interesting because
It
I
is
didn't expect him
interesting.
to do that at all. I thought it was going to be him for like I thought they were going to have to do an extra 30 minutes of the episode him debating what to give people because he's so torn over what to give people for Carlos. They might see
Yeah,
this. They might
he
not ever
did
want to be
make
my
it.
friend again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did make a quick gameplay decision instead of being friends with everybody. You're right, but I did think it was, you said you were family with Corey earlier that episode, and you're not going to throw him. At least give
Jenna,
him
you
a
nailed that
three.
too.
He's
At least give
right.
him a three. If you're mad, he took you out.
Right.
You guys had beef this season. I think that warrants a three, though.
Give him
Like
a
for him
three.
Agreed.
Yeah, come
It
on.
for him to be on the
over
same
Corey
level as
enough.
like, I don't know, someone who doesn't mean anything to you. Same thing with Michelle. Like I thought him and Michelle were close, even though they've
Well,
bumped heads and
they were bickering at
fight.
the end there.
Sure, I know, but again, a one? I don't know. It just felt like,
Props.
wow, you're really team Rachel and Bananas when this is really like, I don't know, feels like
Yeah,
it's your
where's the
first challenge.
Rachel thing coming from? I didn't realize that they were that.
This
Yeah.
episode, yeah, it's all very goofy. And I think Josh is very loyal to whatever feelings he's having in any given moment that are very easily swayed in very immediate situations. So, like that night, he bonded with Rachel and Bananas. So, therefore, oh, Corey, your family, and Mish is out the window. Like, it's just whatever he's feeling in any given moment is he's very, you know, true
Pamela, do you want to
to,
give
but
us a final shut up, Josh? Because he's done
shut
to the
up,
people.
Josh. Oh my God. Well, the shut up, Josh. The final shut up, Josh,
Oh, okay.
was when he was going back to your conversation with Corey. I was like, shut up, Josh. I agree with Corey. Corey has been on point this season with his observations. I feel like
No,
Corey has definitely matured and grown as a person from his earlier days, and that's nice.
for sure.
One other thing
Okay.
before we have to talk about the vignette where Kara is in drag, and
Oh,
Michelle and Tori are fighting over
you
her.
mean Carl?
Carl. And Tori says, the more I hang out with Carl, the more I feel like we're the sun and the moon, like opposite sides, but the same kind of thing, which was a great moment. I
Yeah,
was like, be still my
it's
beating
cute.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is so true, Pam. Those are your favorites. Like
Yeah.
that was probably the best thing
Wow,
for you to
that I
hear.
love that. I love that for you, Pamela, that
Thank you.
your
So
two
I was like,
favorites on the show
oh, this
are
is making
becoming
me so
possibly
happy.
friendly.
That's
Yeah.
why I liked the vignettes. Like, I like
Yeah.
Rachel making us all aware that we should just think of Bananas as like an entitled 11-year-old brat. And that, like, he's a good kid. He's just, he hasn't,
Right.
he's 11.
That was
Yeah,
And
yeah.
very funny. It is
yeah,
cool to see how different eras act with more life experience and they're up there they're older than other ones. I didn't mean to say they're up there. I just meant to say that they are older than some of the other competitors. Like Rachel and Aviv just seem like they have this cool, calm, collected sort of energy. Cara, after her bumps with Laurel, I feel like she really calmed down and evened out throughout the season. It's just cool to see them carry themselves in that way where they're just like they're cool. And same thing with Derek. Like he, no matter what anybody's saying about him as a competitor, he doesn't love it, but he's taking it on the chin and just trying to
right.
to the next challenge, you know? They're not like causing all of these like crazy bickering little fights like the Era 4 people.
Right. Did you ladies have mailbags? Got some mailbag?
I do.
Yes or no?
I did it. Okay.
It's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's
Oh
optional.
no.
It's
I
extra
was
credit.
absent. I didn't do my
What
homework.
happened, Pamela?
It's nothing that, oh no. It's a bad thing that happened to a family. It's bad, but it doesn't have
Oh,
anything to do with any of this.
oh, geez, sorry.
Not the
Okay.
outcome I was looking for, though. Yeah, it's not even me. Like, I'm fine.
Okay.
It's a just
That was a real reaction in real time.
it was
Okay.
a relative, my dad, who like never my dad, my cousin's father, my cousin,
You don't
he
have to tell
died.
us.
He's not until he's 78, but
Oh.
he got checked into the hospital today with COVID, and I was like, well, hopefully he'll come around. Hopefully he'll come
Oh,
around.
geez.
And he
Yeah.
didn't. He died. Like
Oh,
he
wow.
did. My
Okay.
mom just texted me that he died. I'm like, oh my God, I, I definitely didn't.
You didn't see that
He
coming,
had
right?
some health issues, so he didn't like die of COVID, but that's what he's older and he got
Right.
anyway, but that's a horrible thing. We don't have to talk about it at all. I have a mailbag.
Okay. Um, wow.
Right?
Sorry about that, Pam,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
it's like not like I'm okay, but my cousin and his wife is very like
Right.
they're it's horrible for them. She's very like she says we walked to the store today. We sat down. I'm like she can't live without Irving. She needs
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, all right. Do you have your mailbag ready or do you want me to go first while you pull it up?
Oof, that's really awful. Do have my mailbag ready. Sorry. I
Okay.
took a screenshot of it. And it is from boy, I'm not very good at screenshotting.
What did you screenshot?
Screenshotted.
Do you want me to go first? Oh, you got
So
it?
I got it. Do you want
Okay.
okay. So it's from AKA Miss Harmony.
Okay.
AKA Miss Harmony. I want Cara to win for the ladies and Corey to win for the guys. Corey's comes second many times, so he's due for a win. And this is Cara's comeback era. So I wanted to give a shout out to that comment because this episode for me was very Corey forward. And now I
Yeah.
feel like we talked about Jenna last week, who we wanted our top three to be. And I don't think I counted in Corey. And now I'm totally going Corey. Go Corey. I want him to have a shot at it. And if it's things that are geared towards him, then maybe he will. And I agree that it's hard to always not win.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
you're pushing out Kylan then. The Kylan's not in your,
Pushing
so it's
out
going to be
Colin. I'm replacing
Jordan.
Colin with Corey. I think Corey's earned his stripes
All
more.
right. Fair enough.
Like Devin has a win, and I think Corey's an equal competitor to Devin. You know what I mean? Like at this point, I feel like if Devin gets to say he's a challenge champ, that I don't love Devin, but I feel like
The good
Corey's
news,
equally good in different ways.
I mean, the good news is like I'd be happy with Corey winning. I'd be happy with, I guess, Jordan winning again. I don't know if I want Bananas to win. He's won 7 times already. I don't really need him to win again, but I
Yeah.
mean, if he does, he does. If Derek won, I think we'd all be insanely shocked. And I know he did great tonight, but I'm just saying overall, if he's in a finale, I'd be shocked if he won. And then who's the other guy? Oh, Josh is gone. So that's
Ellen.
it, right? Yeah. Um, yeah. My mailbag. Or Jenna, do you want to say who you guys you want to win?
Well, I was just thinking of it.
Face warm.
I know, I
Didn't
could see you in
I
deep thought.
know.
So
Yeah, I started
Well,
touching. Does
because
your no? I just saw you touching, and I was like, "Is my face hot?" Like when you see someone do something, I was like, "Ooh, is my face warm too?" So I
you're
started doing
having
it.
like the
I just was like, maybe my face feels warm too. I need to check.
what are
That's
those
funny.
called? Like psychosomatic
Yeah,
symptoms?
like
Or
when
you
someone yawns, you yawn. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
well,
like,
I was
oh,
just realizing, sorry, we don't have to spend time on this, that I just look and
you
feel so
don't, you
flushed.
don't.
And
But
I'm like,
yeah.
am I having an allergic reaction?
Ah,
she's frozen now.
Um, the thing is, I hate sometimes my indecision and my lack of being able to, but it's just not clear to me here. I feel like, of course, I have favorites. Like, I'd love if Cara won. I'd love if Tori won. It'd be great if Derek won. I don't really want Bananas to win either,
well,
which
enough
kind of
bananas.
is, I don't know, which is kind of like, I'm usually not like that. Like when the world hated Tom Brady, outside of you, Dan, because you're from the area. But when the world hated him because he just won too much, I was like, well, just be as good as him. Like,
Right, beat
sorry,
the
you're a
guy then.
hater.
Beat him.
Like,
Let's go.
he's just really amazing and he has dedicated so much to his craft. And also, he came in as a backup quarterback. It's not like he was like, he didn't earn this in any way. Anyway,
Right.
sorry, wrong tangent. But I
If
feel
he's
like
the
it's related
biggest,
in
like,
the sense of like, if Bananas just keeps winning and is just the most winningest challenger, then like sure he deserves that. And like why should I be a hater about that if it's deserved? But yeah, so that is like my opposing thought that I just kind of feel like whoever wins, good. Like as long as the final is good and it feels like a deserving win, good. Just let whoever wins.
Thanos wins because he beats everybody else, then I'll be fine with it. But Jordan a glove, guys. Like shout back to that comment. Like they give John Bananas a golden glove. They won't give Jordan a custom glove. Come on. Like Bananas is yeah, I prefer to see someone else win, but he
All
wins,
right.
he wins.
Well, my mailbag is quick. Last week, Pamela, you encouraged me to go watch season 2 of House of Villains because we both loved season 1 so much.
Yes.
I just hadn't had a chance to get around to it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it this week. And oh my goodness, once you watch one episode, you just keep watching them. They are so good. They are so entertaining. And our friend of the podcast who always, kind of shits on me, YouTube Bearcat, wrote House of Villains season 2 is basically a masterclass of Wes Bergman manipulating everyone. And it is, and it's awesome. I'm here for it. I don't want to do any spoilers, but I'll just say the note is, it's so fun. And he's so great at what he's doing on that show right now. I think the latest episode drops tonight. So I'm all caught up. Can't wait to
Can't
watch
wait.
it whenever I have a chance to. And Jenna, any thoughts? Do you want to watch House of Villains season 1 or 2?
No, I don't know. It
Because
doesn't.
Bananas is on 1. I won't tell you
It
what
good?
happens. It's so good. And
Okay, all right.
Bergman, Wes, our boy Wes is on season 2. They both carry the show. They just because you know
Okay.
what? It's basically like a simple version of the challenge. And these guys are so good at the challenge that when they come in, all these other celebrities that are on the show, they don't know what the F they're doing. And they just run circles around them. And it's so funny what
Okay.
they do. So
Yeah.
just if you can find the time, it's
Do
really
you,
fun.
do you like Joel McHale at all? Do
Yeah.
you know who Joel McHale is? He
I
used to do.
do,
Okay.
yes.
So
So if you
they
like
basically
Joel
make fun of
McHale,
reality shows. Yeah, they
yes,
just make
he
fun of
sets
it.
the tone. It's like, winning. He's like, I don't know. I'd argue all of us are losers. Like, actually, it's a very
Yeah.
tongue-in-cheek
Right.
reality
Yeah.
show where there's no real stake. I mean, it's just kind of fun. And they brought on Larsa Pippen, and Joel was like, because we need better ratings, and she's got a lot of Instagram followers.
Yeah.
Welcome, Larsa Pippen. Like, it's very sort of irreverent about itself. So
Right.
Wes is great, and there's a bunch of other idiots that he can puppet master. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up episode 14. Uh, Supposedly we have 22 of these, so we're a third of the 2/3 of the way through. And yeah. All right. Well, we're excited. I mean, great episode tonight. We're excited for episode 15 next week. Don't know what it's called, but we will find out.
Don't know what it's called.
For Pamela and Jenna, I'm Dan, and we'll see y'all next week right here at the Challenge After Show.
Thank you
Bye.
guys. Bye.